The Society of American Magicians has been around for about 114 years or so, and I am the 100th president. The 11th president was Harry Houdini. So I have a big straitjacket to fill, but no, it's been really wonderful, and it's a great group of people, and I'm really honored to serve. I'm also the first president from the state of Nebraska. Is that kind of cool? Yeah, so I'm representing the Big Red. A smattering, I'll take a smattering. Thank you very much. I do need this stand because I'm going to be working with my hands in just a little bit. So let me put this right here. But a lot of times I'll be walking around with this. As you heard, my name's... You can't turn on a microphone. All right, as you heard, my name is Jeff Quinn, and I'm here to talk to you about the word beyond. I've learned to hate the word beyond because I put so much thought into this, and a lot of people thought that I'd be going for the typical beyond your imagination, beyond possibility, beyond this, beyond that. The more I thought about it, the more I thought that in many cases the word beyond is a very negative word. It's a very constrictive word, a very limiting word. Look at how we use it sometimes. It's beyond my reach. It's beyond my capabilities. It's beyond my understanding. It's beyond me. Beyond can be limiting. Beyond, here, let me do this. Okay, let me get this out of the way. All right. Oh, yes, the obligatory magic trick. Okay, beyond can be like a white flag, waving the white flag saying, I give up. It's beyond me, I'm not going to do it anymore. But beyond, instead of being a white flag, should be a red flag. See what I just did right there? Yeah, white goes in the top like this, red comes out the bottom like that. White goes in the top, red comes out the bottom, white in the top like this, red at the bottom like that, white goes in the top, red comes out the bottom, white in the top, red at the bottom. That's a pretty cool trick. Eh? Thanks, thank you. Thanks, both of you. How many people would like to know how that trick is done? Okay, good. Just for you guys, I'll show you how it's done, okay? You may have noticed I reached in my little top hat right there. What I was doing was I was actually taking the red scarf. I was shoving it down in my hand. I was hiding it in there. I didn't want you to see me doing it, so I was doing it there. I did it pretty quickly. I can't really do it right now because I have the white one in there. So let me pull the white one out, put the white one here so we all know where it is, okay? I was hiding the red one down in my hand. But I didn't want to come out like this because you're not supposed to know about the red scarf. It's supposed to be a secret. If I came out like this, you'd know about it. That would ruin the whole thing. So I had to shove it in there all the way. I didn't even want a little bit showing. So I shoved it in there as deeply as I could like this, and I came out holding this one, the white one. Now I'm ready to go. Now I can do the trick. One thing I need to remember is I do not, under any circumstances, want to open my left hand. I could, I just don't want to. Instead, what I do is I take the white one right here, I start shoving the white one down in my hand so it goes in white in the top like this, comes out red at the bottom right there. Now, if you pull the red one too hard, it comes out. That's not good. You don't want that to happen. If that ever happens, you take the red, you just kind of shove it up in there just like that. Then you can push the white in the top like this, red comes out the bottom like that, white goes in the top, red comes out the bottom, white in the top like this, red at the bottom like that, white goes in the top, red comes out the bottom. That's how you do the trick. Any questions? Okay, good. Let's move right along then. Oh, thank you guys so much. So where was I? Oh, yeah. Beyond. Being a red flag, being a negative influence. I'd like to, this morning, talk to you a little bit about me and my story, and then maybe talk to you a little bit about you and your story, and maybe do some magic along the way. If you were to go back in time to when I was about 8 years old and talk to the 8-year-old Jeff and tell him that he would be here this morning talking to all of you, he wouldn't believe you because it would be beyond his comprehension. It would be beyond his ability, because back when I was in grade school and throughout high school, I had a horrible stutter. I couldn't put 4 words together without stuttering or stammering or blocking or just freezing up. So the very concept of me being here was beyond my comprehension, let alone the fact that I'd be successful in radio broadcasting or performing. That was just really, really beyond comprehension. But back in about the 4th grade, I remember we had an assignment, It's amazing the things you remember from way back then, but we had this assignment. This assignment was to write down what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I remember the 3 things that I wrote down. I wanted to be a scientist, I wanted to be a museum keeper, and I wanted to be an explorer. Pretty eclectic, huh? But there was a common thread through all of those. In my 8, 9, 10-year-old, however I was, mind, none of those jobs required me to speak. If I was a scientist, I envisioned myself in a laboratory doing my experiments all alone, coming up with cures, inventions, whatever. As a museum keeper, I'd be working mostly at night, developing displays, putting displays together, wouldn't have to talk to anyone, I'd be working alone. As an explorer, I'd be in the middle of the Amazon or something, you know, not talking to anyone. If I ran into an indigenous tribe, they wouldn't speak English, or they wouldn't know I stuttered, so I'd be in the clear. That'd be great. They all had that one common thread. I had given up the hope that I would be able to speak fluently. I had waved the white flag. Fluency was beyond me. When you're 10 years old and you think that something is beyond you, you think that something is out of your grasp, that's really devastating. It's not that I didn't try. All throughout grade school and high school, I went to speech therapists, the school speech therapist. I had 2 private speech therapists. I went and saw a clinical hypnotist, and every night I got down on my knees and I prayed to God that I would wake up and have fluent speech, that I would be given something that everyone else had, the ability to talk. And every morning I woke up and my tongue would betray me. Couldn't speak fluently. Going back to grade school, I found that I needed a way to express myself. I couldn't do it verbally. It was beyond me. It was beyond my capabilities. I couldn't speak fluently, so I needed some other way to communicate. So I started reading and writing. That was kind of my sanctuary, reading and writing. And I found that I had the capability to write, and write well. And that's the way that I communicated, was by writing. And one year, my school had this competition where every month they would have an essay competition. Now, when I say competition, here's how it worked. We were required to write an essay. It was mandatory. You had to write an essay on a topic. And then the principal would choose the winning essay. And one month, I won. It felt great. I was finally being recognized. My way of communicating was working. I won the contest. That was the good news. The bad news is, if you won the essay contest, the winner had to read the essay aloud in front of the PTA. Oh yeah. For a week ahead of time, my stomach was churning. I'm telling you, I was dreading this. I was watching the calendar, watching the days tick off until the PTA meeting, and it was horrible. It was agonizing. Finally, the day came. My dad came home from work. My dad was a welder, and he came home and cleaned up and got his suit on, because back in the day, that's what parents did. They got dressed up to go to PTA meetings. He got his suit on, my mom got her dress on, and we got in the car, and I remember my stomach still churning and me getting more and more nervous with every block that we got closer to the school, closer to the PTA meeting. And I remember praying that my dad would get into a car accident. Not a bad one. just enough to make it so that we'd miss the PTA meeting so I wouldn't have to do this thing. But damn you, Dad, he was a good driver. He got us there okay. So we got in, and we went into the gymnasium. All the chairs were set up like they're set up here. And we found our seats. We got our program. I saw that I was toward the end. Great. More waiting, more time to mull this over in my mind. I had my essay there, and I was rereading my. I knew my essay by heart. I had read it. I knew every word of that essay, but I just couldn't verbalize it. So finally, the time came for me to get up there, and they announced my name, and there was applause, and I remember walking up to that microphone, quite a bit like this one. The longest walk I ever took. The microphone was staring at me, and I got up there and put my essay down, and I could feel the shortness of breath. I could feel my face becoming flush. I could feel my stomach still churning. I got tunnel vision because all I could concentrate on was that piece of paper. And I started to read my essay. And I stuttered. And I stammered, and I blocked, and I froze, and it was horrible. And I couldn't focus on the audience. I was just focusing on those words and trying to get through those words. And finally, mercifully, I got to the last word, and there was applause. But I knew that it wasn't really applause for the essay I had written, it wasn't applause for my writing skills. It was applause because people were so thankful that I was done. And I was thankful that I was done. So I left the microphone, and I was walking back to where my parents were sitting, and my head was down because I didn't want to look at anyone. Got down and sat with my parents and looked at them, and they were smiling. And that taught me something, and it's something I always knew, but it was just reinforced that evening, that my parents weren't ashamed of me for what I couldn't do, speak. They were proud of me for what I could do, my writing. They were proud of me for what I did do, facing my fears, getting up there and talking, and not talking well, stuttering like crazy, but getting through that. I didn't let it conquer me, and they were proud of me for that. So, I'm also a mind reader, and I can know the question that's on everyone's mind here today. How did I go from there to here? How did I get beyond my stuttering? Here's the answer. I'm a magician. Okay, that sounds like a cute little answer, but there's more truth to that answer than you really know, than you really realize. A magician makes you see what he wants you to see. He creates illusions. He brings you into his world. He lets you see what he wants you to see. He doesn't let you see what he doesn't want you to see. I am still a stutterer. I always will be. I've accepted that. But I found tricks. I found methods to give the illusion that I am a fluent speaker. But no, I am still a stutterer. There are still times when I can't put 4 words together. Those times are very few, but there are still times when that happens. So, once I discovered and mastered these tricks and these methods and was able to give the illusion of fluency, I took the next logical move. I got a job in radio. What was I thinking? I don't know. I did okay. I spent 16 and a half years in radio. A lot of it was all over the East Coast. And in radio, I don't know if any of you know the radio business, but the main way that you progress in radio is you move from market to larger market. So I moved around quite a bit, and I was in Wisconsin and Illinois and Maryland and West Virginia, did some syndicated radio in Washington, D.C., then finally had a chance to come back to Omaha, where I was born and raised. And I jumped at that chance. I was in radio here in Omaha for about 8.5 years. And in that time, I also discovered magic. I discovered that I had the ability to do magic. I had an aptitude for it. It just kind of came naturally to me, and I really enjoyed it. So I started doing magic part-time. It was, kind of a hobby that turned into a hobby that paid for itself, that turned into a part-time job. And it wasn't too long before I was making more money doing magic part-time than I was in radio full-time, which, if you've ever been in radio, you know that's not any big feat. Yeah, radio is never really paid very well. But I was doing it. And so on May 31st of 2000, coming up on the anniversary, May 31st of 2000, I was called into the general manager's office, and I was told that word had come down from the corporate office that they had to downsize, and they let 12 people go that day, and I was one of them. And so I walked out the door with my stereotypical box of stuff from my desk. I was wondering, what in the world am I going to do? Because radio was all I knew. 16 and a half years in radio. I didn't know how to do anything else except magic. I was making some good money in magic, not great money, but enough. And I thought, maybe I can make this magic thing work for me. Maybe I can become a full-time professional magician. Now, I would like to tell you two things. I would like to tell you, first of all, that I had the undying support of my friends and family. I would also like to tell you that I was a success right from the beginning. I can't tell you either of those things. The first part, my friends and family, they thought I was crazy. They thought I was nuts. It was beyond their comprehension that I could make a living doing magic. Fortunately, it wasn't beyond my comprehension. And as far as becoming an overnight success, no, I wasn't successful at the beginning. There were a lot of nights when I had a dinner of ramen and ragu. But I kept at it. I kept learning new tricks, I kept learning new methods, I kept rehearsing, I kept practicing, I kept on doing stuff. And the work began to come in a little bit more regularly. The harder I worked, the more jobs I got. I started getting repeat clients, which was great, which was wonderful. My calendar started to fill up. I went from doing 100 shows a year to 150. Then 200, then 250, then 300. Now I do between 300 and 350 shows a year, and I enjoy it. I'm doing what I really love doing. It is such a blessing. But even though I'm working all the time, I travel all over the country doing magic, I still have people who can't comprehend. It's beyond their comprehension that I can make a living doing this. I have people come up to me and they say, "Oh, you're a magician. What's your real job? What's your day job?" I get that a lot. Even today, I get that a lot. True story, about 15 years ago, there was a very attractive woman, a beautiful woman. She was smart, she was funny, she was intelligent, loved everything about her. She would not go out with me because I didn't have a real job. So this thing is being recorded, right? Video recorded? Okay, look into this camera. So if she's watching today, I just want to say, honey, I love you and I'll be home soon. I married her 6 years ago. Yeah, she wasn't about to be my first beyond. I'll tell you that much right now. So, what's your beyond? What is it that you feel is beyond your reach? What is it that you feel is beyond your capability, beyond your understanding? Beyond is temporary. Beyond is not permanent. This cup is beyond my reach right now. Not now, because I literally took the steps to reach that cup. All you have to do is take the steps to reach your beyond. Beyond is temporary. That's what I really want to leave you with. A lot of people think that what I do, magic, hypnosis, is beyond their capability, beyond their understanding. And in that case, I'm glad that they think that's true, because that's how I make my living, doing something that they think is beyond them. But it's not. Earlier, I asked you guys to get 4 cards from the tables, okay? If you haven't gotten 4 cards, go back and grab them real quick. They're on the table right back there, 4 cards and a cup, okay? Make sure that all 4 of your cards are different, okay? Now, you can have like a 2 of hearts and a 2 of diamonds. They're different cards. You can have all red cards, you can have all black cards, but don't have like 2, 3 of clubs or something like that, all different, all right? So I'm going to show you right now that magic is not beyond you. We're going to do some magic. Oh, good, you guys are getting some cards. All right. Grab your cards. I've got some cards right here. And grab your cup. Your cup, what your cup is going to be is it's going to serve as a trash can. Yeah, you're going to throw something in this cup. All right. I have the instructions right here so I don't screw this trick up too. All right. Everyone got your cards? Cool. Shuffle those cards up, mix them up, okay? And hold them face down so even you can't see what's going on, all right? You're all going to be magicians here. Great. Okay. All shuffled up. Hold them face down. Now, we are going to rip the cards in half. Now, there's a certain way to rip the cards in half. You want to rip this way, not this way. So watch what I do. Take the cards, you rip them just like that. Okay, got it? Terrific. Oh, so you're destroying cards. That's okay. Now, you have 2 packets of cards, 2 halves of cards. Take 1 packet of cards, 1 half of the cards you ripped, put them on top of the other. It doesn't matter if you go right on left or left on right. Just go ahead and put one on top of the other. Okay? Great. Now, from here on in, we're just going to refer to these as cards. Even though they're half cards, we're just going to refer to them as cards, okay? Take your cards and cut your cards, okay? Just take some, put them on the bottom, that's a cut, okay? Cut the cards. Good job. Take the top 3 cards, just kind of push the top 3 cards off. 1, 2, 3. Top 3 cards, and put them somewhere in the middle, anywhere you want, right in the middle. Okay. Is everyone there? Okay. Take the top card, the card that's on top, the very top card, put it under your butt. Sit on it, yeah. Now, take the next top card, the card that's on top, and put it somewhere in the middle, anywhere you want to, right in the middle. Now here's where it gets fun. You can take the top card, the top 2 cards, or the top 3 cards, and you have a choice. You can either take 1, 2, or 3 cards and put them in the middle, somewhere in the middle, or you can toss them away in that little waste basket that you have right there, your little cup. So either toss 1, 2, or 3 cards away, or take 1, 2, or 3 cards and put them in the middle. All right? It's entirely up to you. Okay, we're getting there. Take the top card on your little packet here, put it on the bottom and say, Sunday. Oh, you guys are good. Take the next card on the top, put it on the bottom and say, Monday. Next card on the bottom, Tuesday. Wednesday. Thursday. Friday. Saturday. Are you feeling weak? Sorry, I had to say that. Okay. Now, we're almost done. We're almost done. Take the top card, put it on the bottom and say, loves me. Take the next card on the top, throw it away, loves me not. Next card, put it on the bottom, loves me. Next card on the top, throw it away, loves me not. Keep on doing this. Loves me. Loves me not. 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 You wind up with a card that loves you. Turn that card around. Now take a look at the card that you've been sitting on. I know. How many people have a matching card, have matching halves? Good. How many people just discovered it's way too early in the morning to do magic tricks? Yeah, I know. It usually works. That's kind of cool. You're all magicians now. Magic is not beyond you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Oh, that's great. Oh, hey, in closing, I did that again. There we go. I have a couple things that I want to say in closing. In closing, I want to give you a thought, and then I want to give you 2 pieces of advice. All right? First, the thought. When you came in, you had an icebreaker question, and that question was, if you could have a magical power, what would it be? And I want you to think about that. Now, I know what some of you have written down, because I've read your name tags, but I don't know what everyone wrote down. You know, I think that you wrote down that you'd like to fly. That's a good magical power. That's great. To fly, freedom. A lot of times when you write something down like that, what you wish for is something that will help you get to something or somewhere that's beyond you right now. If you're feeling constrained, you may wish to fly. If you would like a magic power that can get you some money, you know, you can turn something to gold. Maybe you think that your finances, financial stability is beyond you right now. You're wishing for something. A magical power is just a wish. And like I said, beyond is temporary. So if you work at it, you're going to get it. I'm living proof of that. All right. Last 2 things I want to leave you with are 2 pieces of advice. First piece of advice, never, ever tell me that something is beyond me. Second piece of advice, never, ever let someone tell you that something is beyond you. Thank you very much for listening to me this morning. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you so much.